Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Return to the planet of the apes.
Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I'm your host, Jon Randall, and with me, as always,
Brandon Gehringer.
Sorry for the layoff. I want to apologize to our listeners. Last week, we didn't do it. I don't really recall why we didn't do it. We just had stuff going on.
Well, there's some other stuff going on, yeah.
Yeah, we had that going on, and then today...
we're good.
Yeah, today we're back.
We're here.
And let's see, what happened this week? My nephew turned 4.
It's cool.
Got him some toys. Took him to play putt-putt today.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot as balls outside.
Very humid.
As you know.
I do know.
You were outside working?
I did. I was. In the yard.
You said the hardest in your life. You probably worked today, right?
No, sweated. The
Sweated.
sweat was incredible. Just poured through. It just poured out of me. It was it was amazing.
Sexy.
Well, it's very sexy. What else? It's got several weeks of stuff. We saw The Hobbit. Desolation of Smaug.
Smaug.
And it was very, very bad.
Terrible. Yeah, just bad.
Really bad.
I don't like to throw around the word shit.
What do you do?
Yeah, I do. But it was.
It was bad.
There was probably 10 minutes of that movie that was actually in the book. I mean,
okay.
It was incredibly just made up and farcical.
What about Bjorn? Crackhead. Looked like a crackhead.
It was a terrible film.
The movie's about 5 hours long.
And the dwarves locked him out of his house. They were like, you can't come in. It's his house.
It was really, really bad. It was very disappointing.
And you're right, it is. It was probably, it just felt like I was watching it for years.
And it's just, the spirit, the magic is just gone. It's just ebbed away with every new movie that he's made.
The only thing the movie's missing is Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. One of our good listeners and a good friend of mine said that in Battle of the Five Armies, we would not be surprised if all of a sudden, because I believe that you're going to see Sauron in the Battle of the Five Armies. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, He's going to show up. Remember me?
Well, of course. Why not? He already fought Gandalf, and that didn't happen in the book.
That's
so
true.
You might as well have him and Thorin just squaring off
on each other. I said the real surprise is going to be when Treebeard scrolls in. He's dual wielding automatic crossbows of his own make, and as the camera spins around Treebeard, you're going to see a small little raccoon on his shoulder, and that raccoon's going to wink at the camera.
I just want Good Golf to show up for the Battle of the Five Armies.
That would be good. That's a real out there reference for a lot of people.
That was a deep pull.
That's
a B-side for you people out there. If you can figure out who Good Golf is.
As much as I love fantasy stuff, I love Tolkien, and those, it's amazing to me that I cannot really get any enjoyment out of those Hobbit movies. They're just absolutely lifeless, soulless compared to the first three, the Lord of the Rings movies, and even those waned as they went, in my opinion, with Fellowship of the Ring being the top dog. But for all those people listening that might like them or not like them, no big deal. I'm still glad that people are watching Tolkien movies. It's amazing that we're seeing some. Well, these are Lucas. These are Peter Lucas movies, as I'm going to call them,
or George Jackson
movies. And it's amazing that we're still seeing those. But just think for a second if Peter Jackson would have been serious about these movies and really try to make some real art on the screen, some real literature come alive, instead of him eating a fucking carrot the first thing you see in the movie, which was absurd.
You instantly turned the film off.
Yeah.
We were watching it. We were probably, I would say, less than 5 minutes in the film, and you stopped it.
He doesn't give a shit about those films at all, man. It's just a joke. It's terrible.
Stephen Colbert caught me off guard because I didn't know he was in the movie.
Yeah, and I knew that was happening.
But that whole part with Lake Town was just
bad.
Just so bad, man. Like the whole made-up mayor and him being basically Denethor. Like, I was like, this is madness.
It's just dumb. It stanzas. Everything repeats. And then, genius dwarves with their plan to, let's try to burn a fireworm. Real smart idiots. But,
play a role-playing game, assholes.
I know. Dwarves don't know anything about dragons. Come on, get real.
So let's just forget about that movie. Let's just put it out of our minds.
It's understandable. I said I was going to watch it, but
I need to make an apology for our last episode.
Oh, that's all right. Let me write this down. This is a good one.
I want to apologize to our listeners because I said something that was factually inaccurate. And what that was that I have a complete run of volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Turtles. When, in fact, I'm actually still missing issue 29 of volume 4 because there's only 1,000 copies. I still haven't got that yet. But I will eventually get that.
I'm certain that everybody now is shaking they're nodding their heads in acceptance of your
That was
forgiveness.
something that I factually said that was inaccurate in the last episode, so I did want to apologize for that.
Yeah, no other craziness happened in that last episode.
Look, here's the deal. I stand by what I say in regards to I don't like Joaquin Phoenix. But I am going to apologize if I offended anyone by saying... If I offended anyone by saying the wrong Phoenix brother died. Because...
It's so absurd.
That is a...
Nobody should die.
That's a heartless comment, and I'll give you that. But I was trying to make fun of Walk Hard with Dewey Cox, in which the father constantly says, the wrong son died.
Yeah.
And basically, for the first 40 minutes of Walk the Line that we watched...
We did watch that night, didn't we?
We watched like 40 minutes of it.
We watched it last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. We watched about 40 minutes of it because you really pushed me to. We didn't finish the film, of course, because we had boxing that we watched instead.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the first 40 minutes of that, even his dad in that movie, Robert Patrick, basically said the same thing.
They're ripping off that movie.
So,
it's like a, you know...
Yeah, no, I get it. So, that's what I was making fun of. It wasn't so much that I believe that Joaquin Phoenix should have died. I don't wish death on him.
It's just comedy.
I just wish he'd retire from acting. He's not good.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He's not
He's
good.
going to be Doctor Strange, dude.
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's the latest Marvel rumor.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the many, I guess.
He could be Doctor Strange. Which, is fine for me, honestly. That's fine because these Marvel movies suck for the most part now. And I'm not really interested.
You liked Thor 2?
I fell asleep in Thor 2. That's a follow-up for our listeners as well.
Well, didn't we talk about that?
I don't know if we did or not, but
it's been a while.
I fell asleep in that.
What else? You had a good burger the other day.
I did. There's this place that opened up here in our town. I think it's called... It's either I think it's Bad Daddy's Burgers.
Big Daddy's Burgers.
It might be Big Daddy's. It's either Big or Bad Daddy's. It's something B Daddy's Burgers.
Boner Daddy's.
Could be. Very good.
Word.
Very good. I got the lamb burger.
Mistake number 1.
No, it was delicious. I mean, it was amazing. Something to be said, I never thought about this. Putting feta cheese all over a lamb burger.
Sounds good.
It was
Well, I'll have
great.
to try it. I'll have to try it out.
It was great. We had a health screening this week at work.
Oh, yeah. How'd that work out for you, Jonathan R.?
I am skating the thin line between not having and having diabetes. So,
What are you going to do about that?
I really probably should do something. But lifestyle changes. Yeah, I mean,
It would take an effort on your part.
it would take an effort. So, I mean, you may see me die soon. You may see that.
Probably won't.
You won't see that?
We won't see you die.
No, I mean you.
Well, no, it's going to be, where's John? I never heard from him in a couple
Exactly.
days.
You're gonna come over
Let me
and
go over and look in the window
and see see my body, my bloated corpse.
I
on
hear
the
big
floor.
flies in there.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
What about the dogs? You think they'll eat you?
I don't know, man. It really. I think it depends because if it's one of the nights where I go to sleep with the bedroom door open, maybe not. But if they're trapped in the bedroom with me, and somebody doesn't find me for a couple of days,
Have you thought about that? That's
Maybe.
embarrassing for you.
maybe
Because you know they're going to go right...
It's not embarrassing, Brandon. Because here's the thing: once I'm dead, who gives a shit?
But really, do you want your last
It's not my
moments
problem.
To me, for some guy to walk into the room and be like, yep, looks like the dogs ate them and they went straight to the butthole. That's where they started eating first. Because that's where they're going to go first, to the butthole.
Well, you know about dogs going to the butthole, but
No, let's not talk about that.
that
was a dark day.
That's an epic story that needs to be told one day.
It doesn't need to be told.
But here's the thing:
You can be your ass is going to be eaten by a dog in your death. That's not good.
well, again,
You're okay with that?
This is the thing, man.
You can do whatever you want with his body when he dies.
Throw me in the trash.
I'm gonna ring my bell in your mouth.
Throw me in the trash. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm dead. It only affects the people left behind at that point.
Well, that's going to be their last memory. What if your mom comes in and sees that? The dogs went right to his butthole.
She sees what she sees, okay? I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, what do you want me to say?
I guess so. You're gonna see that corner. Oh my god!
I'm gonna say something right now, so I'm gonna give you a chance to hit the skip 15 seconds ahead button on your iPhone or whatever, real quick. All right. Starting right now. She could come in and find me like dead from masturbation. I mean, who knows, man? Somebody could
really
find
gotta
that.
stop that. I've seen your hands a real claw now.
All right. Well, for those of you that skipped ahead, we're not going to say what I just said, but needless to say, some of you might be thankful that you've skipped ahead if you're sensitive to.
I really wanted to go more on that too.
You could, man, but that's a lot of skipping ahead.
When it would have been on your computer.
Who knows, man?
God, all right. What a mess you are. This kid's a mess. I'm going to let y'all know this now. He's got no sleeves. Once again. Well, he kind of has some sleeves.
Kind of. Oh, good.
Got some. You went ape. Your arms have gone.
I've gone ape.
Speaking of going ape,
yep.
We've got an episode of the Planet of the Apes TV show to talk about.
It's the Good Seeds.
It's episode 4, The Good Seeds. Would you like to start us off?
Well, the episode starts off with our boys, Peter, Alan, and Galen, lagging way behind. Mm-hmm. They're trucking through some hillsides. Okay, and I don't believe they know they're being pursued at this point because they never really mention it. Do they? I think at one point, maybe I think maybe he says, we don't see him.
Yeah, Alan says something like that. But it does show a scene where gorillas are on horseback by a creek that are possibly looking for the
crick if you're a northerner.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've never understood that.
I don't get it either. I would like to say, just real start off the beginning of this episode. I really like the way they filmed this whole show. Like wherever they filmed it, wherever park that freaking was, I just think it has a really cool look. And there's a lot of cool scenes of like valleys and mountains and hills and streams and stuff like that. I just think it looks great. Like I don't know, something about it. It's that type of D&D adventure aspect of one of the reasons I like the show. They've got backpacks. They're traveling. They're on the lam. I don't know. There's something about it that every time I see it. And this was a show. Even the farm that's here is very reminiscent to me of like a D&D fantasy farm. That I would it'd be cool to have adventures around or something. But yes, you're right. Continue if you will. Alan has an item that he's made.
He's made a compass.
Very well made compass.
And Galen didn't have a clue what this thing was. Yeah. He's like, "What the hell is this?"
When did he do that Galen didn't see?
He did it when Galen was asleep.
Probably so.
And obviously in between episodes.
Well crafted.
Because they had never had it.
It's well crafted.
Yeah, I don't know how he fashioned out that little metal,
He's got a lot of downtime. They got downtime.
Okay, sure, yeah. So he fashioned the compass, in which Galen thinks is some sort of witchcraft because he can tell directions without seeing the stars at night.
And Peter and Alan, this is very uncharacteristic of Galen because how many times have Peter and Alan demonstrated their witchcraft ability in front of Galen? Galen is with them for pretty much the exact opposite reason because they don't do witchcraft. Like Alan's going to be like, "Oh yeah, witchcraft. This is witchcraft, Galen." It's completely out of character for Galen. It's a bit of a slight, I think, in his character's mindset. Like all of a sudden, Galen is like just a normal rube they meet in one of these towns.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say whoever wrote this episode, and I'm looking at you, maybe some sort of previous incarnation of you, because this is a straight Alan episode.
Oh yeah, this is a good Alan.
episode. If you take Peter and Galen's combined effort in this episode, okay, this is what you get. You get a do nothing, and you get a racist, and that's what you get out of this episode between the two of them. This is a straight Alan episode. So, whoever wrote this really didn't have any kind of background for the idea of the characters of Galen and Peter.
But Alan was the man in the episode.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
He pulls a lot of weight.
Yeah, and obviously it's from his farming background.
He does have a farming background, so that helps him in this episode.
So a lot of career paths go farmer, astronaut. So
that's pretty normal. And I'll take up here. It shows he shows the compass, and he's talking about how he can use it to see which way they're going. Blah blah blah. We know how a compass works. It quickly goes back to like a nighttime scene.
Let's reiterate. Nighttime on this show is pantyhose over the camera. Apparently,
yeah. Well, you got to be able to see.
You can't really tell if it's supposed to be night or day.
Yeah.
but we're assuming it was nighttime.
Camera issues and getting stuff dark, I guess. So the gorillas that are following them, they keep getting lost because I guess it's overcast and they can't see the stars to navigate. My thing is keep going straight. I don't know how you get lost. You keep going around to the same log.
Well,
because you can't see the stars. Just keep going one direction.
Like the band?
No, they're not a band. They're a group.
Whatever.
They're a great group too.
Whatever. I don't think I've ever heard a song by him.
Well, Harry Styles is my favorite.
Say.
Harry Styles is my favorite.
I don't know who any of these people are.
You don't know who Harry Styles is?
No.
He's dreamy. I'm going to let you know that now.
All right.
His hair, dreamy. That's all you need to know.
Who would you pick, Harry Styles or Justin Bieber?
Harry Styles. Let's get real.
Okay, wow.
Justin Bieber's played out.
Strong statement from the co-host of Go Eat Podcast.
Yeah, Justin Bieber's played out.
All right, so back to the episode.
He's a thug.
I think the reason maybe they were getting turned around and couldn't go straight, as you said, is coming up in just a moment, and I'll let you take back over. We see this was not a terrain that you necessarily could just keep going straight ahead because there's a lot of drop-offs.
That's true. There is a lot of drop-offs as Galen and Peter and Alan, they're traveling. Trying to get away from these dudes. Galen decides to go up over some cliff or some shit.
Which is funny because,
he never does shit by himself.
Well, go ahead and tell what happens when he goes up on this cliff.
He takes a bit of a spill. I've got it right here. Galen takes a spill, and I thought it was pretty well done. The way they filmed it.
Takes a little bit of a wipeout.
Yeah, he wipes out pretty good. I mean, he hits it pretty hard.
It was like me going down those steps at your house that one time.
You ate it. You ate it hard. But his leg's all busted. Like his leg gets trashed in this spill. Alan and Peter come and quickly do a very well-made tourniquet. It's not well made.
Well, what I wanted to touch on is, you're right. They got there very quick. And you know why? Because they basically walked down the embankment to get around this basically cliff that he just fell off of. And it was roughly 15 feet down. So why did Galen choose to go up high and along the cliff? I don't know.
He's a bit of a dog.
It's a plot point. We just got to write off his that.
So they've got him on a stretcher, what they made with wood and whatnot.
And a poorly made tourniquet.
Yeah, it's poorly made. I've got here, get him on a stretcher, and they carry him to yonder farm. Yonder. I use the yonder in my notes. So there is a farm in the distance, and Alan goes up to the farm, and he's knocking kind of on this root. That's kind of the doorknob.
A root, hanging by the door frame.
Yeah.
Now, as you touched on, they built this entire house. This entire farm is really well built. Yet, for the door, bed sheets.
Yeah, bed sheet cloth.
Bed sheets just hanging there. They couldn't build a door. Whatever.
That's incredible.
They
probably got a bug problem.
So he had to knock roots on the side of the
roots. I'm usually busting
door
roots.
frame.
I'm usually busting roots myself, not knocking roots. And this chimp, opens up the door, I guess you can say, and pretty much tells him he tells him to Amspray. Get out of here, you filthy human. He's like, I'll beat your ass. He pretty much tells him we've got knives and shit.
He says we have knives in here. I'm like, God dang.
Of course, Alan tells him that Galen's hurt. He can see Galen laying there, and Galen's doing this sympathy thing, and his family runs out. I got here. His family is ready to kick ass, and they're all in almost practically in karate stances, ready to beat the shit out of the boys.
I think they were the first gorillas trained in kung fu.
Probably so. One has a sickle.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking around. I mean, and he was brandishing that thing too.
Yeah. They take a look at Galen, and they tell Alan and Peter to wait in the barn. All right?
Yep.
They're like, we'll see to your boy that's all busted up here. And Peter and Alan, they take a little snooze in some hay right beside a cow. All right? Cow is very, intricate part of this.
Central to the story.
It's central to the story. They get a rude awakening by the guy with the sickle. His name is Anto. Anto, I've got written here, is a shithead.
They're big time.
Big time. He's probably the biggest shithead in this TV show.
Biggest shithead in the TV show, and I would say top 3 Planet of the Apes universe.
Yeah. He's a big asshole. And the very first time we watched it, I was just like, this guy's way too much. He's got a real bad attitude.
I couldn't stop laughing at him.
I know. But he wakes him up with a freaking poke of a pitchfork.
And I do want to interject real quick.
Okay.
We might have said this before. This is my favorite episode of the series.
You said that the last episode.
Yeah, this is my favorite episode of the series by far. It's just great. It's a great episode.
It's a good episode. He pretty much tells them, look, assholes, you're sleeping too close to the cow, and that humans are bad luck for cows. Okay? He's wanting the cow. Now, this is the main thing about the story. Okay? On a farm, the tradition is the eldest male farmer son, I guess, He takes care of the cow, and if the cow has a bull calf, then he can start his own farm.
Yeah, he can break off and finally be on his own.
It's tradition. All right?
For 5 years now,
Yep.
every year that cow's had a female cow.
And
Not having a bull.
So Anto, understandably, is pissed. Okay?
Yeah, he wants to get out of his dad's house.
And he knows that humans, strangely enough, humans eat cows for their flesh. Their sweet, tasty flesh.
Damn right we do.
Yeah, it's very good. And so he's instantly like, you guys are going to fuck up my shit that I got going on here.
In Anto's defense, if I was Peter and Alan, and this is the first cow I'd seen in 3,000 years, I'm cutting that cow up.
Yeah, you're going to eat him up.
I'm going to have a filet. I'm going to have a ribeye. I'm going to have a New York strip. I'm going to have some ribs.
You're going to be all over it.
Yeah, he's right. I would have killed that cow in a second.
Right. So it switches back to the family, and Galen's pretty much telling the family, look, you won't have any problems with Alan and Peter. They're cool. You know, these guys are cool. I can vouch for them. And then, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know, this is first of many scenes that we see. In which Alan and Peter are shirtless in this episode. And this is probably why Jonathan likes this episode so much.
It didn't hurt.
These guys are shirtless, sweaty, wet. I mean...
Look, dude, I like what I like.
That's true.
Okay?
So, they're shirtless, and that's a thumbs up. I'm going to give it that. It's already got a star. That's a star out of 5 stars. They pretty much come out there and tell them, look, you guys can stay until Galen can walk, but you're going to fucking work. That's what the head farm dad, whose name is Polar. Polar comes out there and he's like, look, you guys can stay until Galen can walk, but you're going to work your asses off. All right? Now, of course, Alan's like, cool. This is what I used to do. So you get a gorilla from the Gorilla Goon Squad, shows up. He's obviously looking for the boys. And he tells the family, and of course they go hide. Peter and them, they go hide. Tells the family, to be on the lookout for these these escape dudes. All right. So Anto's, of course, the whole episode, Anto's got his
shifty eye.
Yeah, shifty eyed, head cocked to the side, in the back, always leering, if you wish. Not Dennis leering either. Hey-o. All right. Stupid. And so it quickly shows Peter and Alan hard at work in the field.
First of all, before that gorilla leaves, after making sure they all understand, he gets an affirmative from everybody except for Anto, who's sitting back there all shifty-eyed. And then all of a sudden that gorilla, after getting an affirmative from the father, the mother, the sister, and the youngest son, he looks over at Anto, who has said nothing, and he goes, "What are you, dumb? Do you understand?" He's like, "Yes,
It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny
But he
scene.
just straight calls him out. He's like, "What are you, dumb or something?
Yeah.
You understand?"
And so back to the farm, back to the plowing of the fields. So this dumbass Polar, he's been plowing his fields up and down the embankment of the field. Okay, it's on a hillside, right? Alan, I think it's a pretty neat scene where he shows them where if he was to plow around his hill, then he'll create pretty much irrigation divots so that the water will collect. Because if he's doing it up and down, the water's going to run off his topsoil, and you're going to have these big divots that, just going to take his topsoil and get it deeper and deeper. And so it's just a cool scene, and this whole episode with Alan and Peter is a lot of like, you guys are doing it wrong, let's show you how to do it right.
And this is the first or second instance in the episode where Anto goes... Where Anto quickly questions it. He's like, "You're not going to listen to this human, are you?"
Pretty much the first time.
Yeah, this is the first. Was this before the hay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he goes, "You're not going to listen to this guy, are you?" He's like, "He's crazy." And then Polar gives it some thought, and he goes,
"Hold on a second."
Polar gives it some thought after seeing the demonstration that Alan's created with actual water.
Yeah.
With his little.
It's a good scene. It shows well.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Polar goes, "We'll do it his way."
Yeah, we'll do it his way. And so I like that scene a lot. It's pretty cool. And then it switches over to Peter, and he's kind of doing the same thing with the young son, who's also an ass, I would say.
Yep.
It's a family of assholes.
He's on a power trip, this little kid.
Yeah.
He's probably about 12 years old. I
Right.
don't know what that is in 8 years, maybe 3
Right.
months. And he's basically making Peter build a fence.
Right. He's building a fence, and he's showing them how to make the fence. And he pretty much shows him how to make it with wood, and how he would, if you make it this way, you'll be able to move it, when you. So it's a small scene. And what's going on with Galen? Galen's pretty much getting googly eyes by the young daughter that this guy's got. She wants to get in Galen's pants. She's obviously horny for him. I don't know why. He just reeks of weakness. I don't know.
Reeks of weakness.
Yeah. There's no alpha male whatsoever in Galen.
We're not going to repeat it, but there was a little bit of a racist part with Peter and the youngest son.
Oh yeah. He says something that's not right.
He does an impression.
Yeah.
While he's listening to the son, ordering him around.
75.
And he says something. Yeah, this is 1974. Whoever wrote this just really didn't think about the implications it would have later on, and it's a little bit racist,
but it's funny.
It's racist, so we're not going to repeat it. But just be aware if you watch the episode that there will be a possibly slightly offensive or humorous part to you, depending on which way you fall on that fence.
They've just ordered the disc right now. Oh, I got to see this scene. So it quickly flips to a stock footage of Ape City, probably from Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, because it looks straight up like the scene where Brent first sees the place.
Yeah, where Brent's ready to get the hell out of there. And the gorilla that got lost pretty much tells Urko, look, we got lost with no stars. And Urko's kind of like, you're an idiot. That's pretty much what he says. All right. Quickly, and that's just a real quick little scene. And so it shows a scene where Alan, this is the thing that you were talking about with the hay, he hooks up this big old cow with a rope, and he's able to get like a big bundle of hay up into the upper storage area, upper level of the barn. And again, Anto, I got major shithead, doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's like, hay's for baling.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to do it with a pitchfork.
Yeah, it has to be done like this. It's tradition. Tradition.
Have to be taking a pitchfork and pitching hay up into the top of the barn when Alan basically built a pulley system which automatically lifted the entire bale up there. And then by walking the cow forward and pulling a rope, it pushed right into the top of the barn.
And Polar's like, this is great. And then Anto's like, what? This ain't cool. And of course they hear the sounds of the cow inside the barn.
Yes.
Run in there. And the cow's laying down. And
let me take this one.
All right.
Instantly, Anto goes, probably got some of your evil hay probably just fell down here and he ate some of it, and that's why the cow's laying on the ground.
His hay stunt.
His evil hay is what was said. And he's like, he probably already ate some of your evil hay, and that's why the cow was like laid out on the floor. Like, it's just, he hates everything that Peter and Alan are doing.
Don't touch it, you're going to break it. That's what he pretty much is doing constantly throughout this episode. Alan tells him the cow's not going to die. He's like, look, the cow won't die. And so you know that there's something wrong going on with the cow. And, Alan's going to probably be to blame for it. So it switches into this, like, scene where they're inside the house. And Alan explains, because the youngest son is supposed to, that's his traditional thing to do, is to shuck the corn and to separate, the seed.
The good seed.
From the big ears of corn, okay? And Alan's, he explains to them that the best seed comes from the big ears of corn. And they're like, you're crazy! You're a fool! But once again, it's another one of those scenes, and because they always use the small ones, and he's like, look, if you use the big ones, the best seed, every year your harvest will be better and better, and bigger corn, because you're using the best seed. So that's I think it's another cool scene.
Yeah, and the way he does it, in order to get his point across and make them kind of believe him, is he equates it in a way of saying, look at your father. Your father's big and strong. If your father, and you're going to grow up to be big and strong because you came from him. Yeah. If your father was small and weak, you would probably never grow up big enough to, have your own farm.
Exactly. And it's pretty cool.
And through flattery, he gets his point across in order to teach them things.
True. And the women are working like on looms, I believe. Mm-hmm. They're looming. Mm-hmm. And it quickly shows Anto, he's talking to one of the gorilla guards to see if there's a reward. He's like, is there a reward if we get those guys? So and the gorillas are like, you get the hell out of here, I'll beat your ass, kid. There's no reward.
Yeah, your reward is doing your duty.
Do your job, you farmer. But then the gorillas are like, you know what, we might need to watch that farm a little closely. He's pretty interested in these guys. So, I've got here, Anto thinks his cow's going to die because of the boys. Because all of a sudden it switches back, and it's like, they hate this cow. Because he blames the cow's, whatever's wrong with it. She's obviously pregnant.
Is this where he's ringing the bell?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Okay. It shows Galen walking on a crutch. Okay, so he's getting better. And the farmer's daughter, I don't know her name.
We'll call her Maggie.
All right, Maggie is like, why are you with these humans? You're so weird. It's that scene where, like, you're strange. Please do me.
Stay with us.
Yeah, stay with us and do me sometime. You know? And then these guys have just been, if you think about it, they went all over this farm. The fields, the fence, the hay, and now they made a windmill.
No. That's further ahead.
Oh, it's right here.
First, made a shower. Right?
No, I got the shower. Believe me.
Okay.
It's a hard day's working of making a windmill. They make that windmill. It's going to help with the irrigation.
Yeah. To basically pump water up to their newly plowed field around the hill to irrigate it.
Right. And then Anto's like, I saw Galen walking. These guys are a bunch of liars. He's lying about it. I said, I got written here, he's an ass.
And Polar, per his agreement, said, well, if Galen is walking, y'all got to hit the bricks.
Amscray.
Yep.
And for some reason, it shows Urko's in the area with the other gorilla. He's in the area. And then Peter and Alan are taking a shower in this, they've got it like, the water is lifted up in this big bucket-like thing, this wooden bucket. And then I got written here, I can fap to this. So it's obviously Jonathan's favorite part of this episode. They're lathering up.
Let's be clear, they're not in the shower together. It's just Peter. Alan looks like he just finished. Alan looked like he just finished and was standing on the outside.
I bet.
Now, he could see Peter's twig and berries, I'm sure.
Sure. He's seen this before.
But he was on the outside.
It's
not like they're lathering up each other's bodies inside the shower.
I bet that's what you've thought about. And so one of the gorillas that's been watching the farm, he sees, I've got written here, gorilla spots Peter and Alan having sexy shower time. That's what I've got written down. Oh, man, they're tan bodies. All right.
Well, they've been working in those fields.
Now, the gonging of the bell. There's this bell, right? And Anto's banging the gong. I'll let Jonathan take it from here.
And what happens is when he's ringing the bell, it means that the time has come for the birth, or
it should be.
He's ringing it to try to make sure it's a male calf.
Yeah, male calf.
Now, he looks like. Imagine if you had not slept for, I'd say, roughly
8 months,
177 hours.
Yeah,
and you're barely awake. You're on your knees, just gonging this bell, and this is what we hear all of a sudden. You're hearing a bell, 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 and then all of a sudden, she's died. She's dying. As he's like in this bell.
It's a classic funny scene, man.
I mean, dude, we both busted out laughing at this.
This guy is defeated. Talking about putting all your eggs in one basket. Bong, she's dying.
I mean, he's really good up on this cow.
So Alan runs over and checks out the cow. He realizes that the calf is turned.
Yep.
Okay, he's going, and so there's a big kind of talk. I got discuss written down. The whole family's there. They're all discussing what should happen. There's a lot of bickering back and forward. Galen shows up out of nowhere, and Galen's like, "Look, we can bounce, guys. You know what I mean? We can just leave."
And Peter's down with that.
Yeah, Peter's like, "Okay, cool."
He's like, "I got my backs back."
Yeah, well, he keeps on asking Alan, you sure you can be able to do this? And Alan's like, "I think I can take care of this. I think I can do it. We'll see."
And he starts speaking in metaphors that they can't understand.
Yeah, football metaphors.
Basically saying, yeah. If you want me to, he's like, I'll do a chop block on this guy.
Yeah, I'll do a chop block.
That'll pull us 15 yards. Because he's basically saying, I'll tackle this guy. Because Anton had pulled out the pitchfork once again.
Of course, he's a pitchfork.
Out of nowhere. It was like buried in hay.
Yeah.
And he's instantly ready to run Alan through and kill Alan.
It's a great weapon.
He's got Alan basically pinned down.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to get you, dude. And Alan's just, again, he's just awesome in this episode. And so Peter's like, he whispers into like the little son's ear. He's like, "Do you trust me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he snatches up the little brother, and he acts like he's got a knife, which is his fingers.
2 fingers.
Yeah, 2 fingers. Back. And he's like, "Look, unless you let Alan do this, I'm gonna kill your brother." Put down the. It's a funny scene. He really snatches him up. Back to the banging. I've got Anto is banging a bell for this turd cow. And what's funny is that they've got the cow laid down, and obviously the animal handlers they've shoved a bunch of food right in its mouth, so it's looking off screen and just eating.
Yeah. Like every time they do a cutaway to this cow's face, he's like
munching and looking.
He's laying on the ground sideways. But she's just like eating away at this hay.
So Alan lathers up his arms,
and
he's ready to. I've got Alan lathers up and enters the cow! Exclamation mark. The bell tolls.
I was
That's
what
I've got written there.
As somebody told Anto, you better start. You better start. If you want a bull, you better start.
Get on that bell, boy. That's what they say. And then Urko, the gorilla, tells him about sexy shower time. He's like, I seen him. He was taking a sexy shower. And of course, I got here, Alan is plugging away at this cow. So it shows him he's really working those hands. And he's in there, and Peter's
he's elbow deep in this cow.
Yeah, he's elbow deep in this cow. And Peter's like, how's it going? He's like, well, no, we got double problems here. This is twice as hard as I thought.
Yeah. Peter's like, how bad is it? And he's like, it's twice as bad as I thought.
Twice as bad as I thought. And the reason is...
Oh, we skipping that?
No, go ahead. It's right.
All right. Twins.
Twin what?
Bulls.
So 2 male...
Bulls.
And of course, Anto is very, very happy.
He goes 8.
He's very happy. And this is, in essence, this is Anto's switch. It's a switch. He went over the top. It's a switch. And of course, guess who shows up? All the gorillas show up, including Urko. Urko's there as well.
Yep, Urko's there too.
And they accuse them of pretty much harboring the boys.
Yep.
Okay,
who have all now scurried up to the loft in the barn to hide.
Anto, of course, the family comes out there all like, get the hell out of here! What are you doing running? You're being loud! Anto, of course, all of a sudden dies laughing. He's like, it was me that was taking a shower. So he puts flour on his face. He's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And he walks up straight, which is hilarious.
But what does he say? How does he say it?
I can't remember.
Like a long-necked goose.
Yeah.
Apparently that's how men walk.
We all walk like long-haired? I said long-haired. Long-necked goose. And it's just very funny. And he
and then there's another sexy shower scene.
Yeah, he uses the shower. He's like, I was taking a shower.
He's like, I'm washing my makeup off.
He's like, we're bored. You got to let us have some fun as farmers. And that's what you saw was me. So he's taking the rap for...
Everybody's having a good laugh.
Yeah, everybody's having a good laugh.
Except for Urko.
Urko's like, hold on a second. And so he still makes a gorilla go check the barn.
Because Urko says, if our eyes can be fooled once, they can be deceived again.
Yep.
He's like, so go check that barn out. So, of course, the guy goes to the barn, and he's looking around, and then he's like, all right, nothing down here. Let me climb up to the loft. He gets about 3 rungs up on the ladder.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he hears something, looks over, sees the baby bulls, the pair of them. Instantly, he hops off the ladder and walks out, and then he goes, no humans in there, no men in there. They've got 2 baby calves in there. They'd instantly be eaten if men were around.
Yeah, if humans were in there, they'd been eating them. Of course, this is the part where I'm like, Urko, if you were a little bit more ruthless, you would have just said, set fire to the barn. Than in the show.
I thought it'd been hilarious.
You hear their death screams.
If after 5 years he rides up, murder the male bulls.
Yeah,
kill the bulls.
Murder them. And they take off. Of course, they're like, well, you guys have, you're obviously lying about what you saw or whatever. And Anto apologizes to Peter and Alan. He's a new, changed man.
Yep.
Right. The daughter chimp wants Galen bad. She does one last
push.
Yeah, push to try to get Galen, and Galen's
just not interested.
He's not interested. And of course, Anto tells them that he's named the bulls Verdon and Burke. Named them after them. So kind of cool.
Yep.
And
obviously after Burke because he did the most work.
Negative. And so they take off, all happy and cheerful. A gorilla comes up and asks about the windmill, and Polar says, my young boy here made it. He's quite smart. And he's like, well, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be playing with toys and shit like that. So the gorilla's an asshole. But they take credit for the windmill. And this guy, I'm thinking, okay, you've got an irrigation system. You've got fence. You've got a windmill. You've got this hay system, pulley system. This is the best fucking farmer in this whole world now. He's got this set up.
In like 2.5 days' time.
Yeah.
In like 2.5 days' time, they've turned this guy's entire operation around.
I wish they could have, if the show had kept on going, they go back to this guy, and he's got like this huge, like,
Garden of Eden.
That's an industry of farming going on. Thanks a lot for your endeavors you did for us here, guys. We've got a real good thing going on.
Also, they're like, sorry, we're observing the prime directive now. We have to destroy all this.
Yep. And then, as this show tends to end, like the normal is the scene where they're running away from whatever mischief they've gotten into, and there's a little bit between Galen and the boys, and it's pretty much there's always apes wherever they go. Some are good, some are bad. That's, I guess, kind of like the essence of the show. I guess that was the moral. You just were able to outthink this Anto asshole without him. He was about to stick you with his pitchfork.
So without him running you through. And
thank God you knew that you had to do this. I wouldn't have been like, we need a windmill. Let's make a windmill. I mean, the work that they did, of course they never showed really any of that. Be like, all right, we're making a windmill. You ready for it? You know, I mean, it's like they put a lot of effort. So that's the end of the Good Seeds, and let's hear your final take on the Good Seeds.
Well, of course, I love it. Like
Yep.
I said, it's my favorite episode. Anto is, like I said,
He's hilarious.
Obviously the biggest asshole in the entire series.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's probably top 3 all time in that whole universe.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just hilarious. Every time you see him, every shifty eye look, every cocked head, every distrusting face. I mean,
Outlandish.
The episode's so great to me because it's a riot watching how much this guy hates Peter and Alan.
Yeah.
And it's just a good episode. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I like it too. Bit of a yawn from me. Late night and a lot of work today. I like it because, like I said, I think it shows cool aspects of the place where they filmed this show. It shows the smarts of Alan and Peter, especially Alan. And Alan's gorgeous hair is promptly displayed, as well as his toned physique, as well as Peter's. And so that's good things. And it's got funny characters, it's got funny scenes, and they save the day in essence. And it's got a happy ending, which a lot of these shows episodes don't really. I mean, look at the episode of the Gladiators. The old man takes a bullet in the gut. You know what I mean? And so that's not a great ending for an episode, but this is a good ending. And I'm certain that Alan and Peter did the old like knock off the dust off our hands. Like, we took care of them pretty good. We really set them up. So it's a pretty good episode. I like it. It's definitely one of my favorite of the thing. I still like the trap. Mm-hmm. That's probably still my favorite one. So that's the Good Seeds. And then we'll have episode 5 of the TV show next week. And it's going to be disc 2 of the DVD.
Yep.
So we're trekking on. Hopefully we won't have any more delays, so we can knock them out.
Hopefully so.
And then
now, come October, obviously, I will be gone for a couple weeks in October.
Going to Disney World.
Yep. Taking my nephew.
All right. And
So-
that's all right. It'll be. I'll do the show by myself. You just leave all your stuff. You show me how to do it.
You just show up at my house?
And I'll just do. It'll be me and Christopher Walken doing it. Maybe I can
Wow,
get him.
that could be
just
great.
me and him.
That would be great.
Just can you imagine him doing the whole thing?
Yeah, I can.
Me and him, just Brandon and that's talent overload, though. To be honest with you, I don't know if our listeners will be able to handle that.
Maybe not.
And they'll be screaming out their car windows. Oh my God! Did someone come listen to this? I can't be the only one enjoying Christopher Walken and Brandon Geringer talking.
Dude, we have like dozens of subscribers. Dozens. Maybe fives.
I don't know.
Like 15 people download the show.
It's okay. It is still the number 1 podcast of Planet of the Apes.
We are the premier Planet of the Apes podcast.
That's correct. Anywho, this is where shit hits the fan sometimes. In case, i.e., last episode.
I don't necessarily want to argue about anything today.
You don't want to argue about anything?
I mean, do you have something we could argue
People
about?
really enjoyed it, apparently, from what I heard.
Did they?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Rick Crespo, he enjoyed it.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he laughed his ass off. We talked about it.
I haven't heard from Rick in forever.
Yeah, you need to get on the Twitters.
Well, I haven't looked at Twitter in a while because I've really gotten heavy back. You should be happy. I've gotten really back into playing video games. Yeah. I mean, I beat Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. Started playing Mass Effect 2, which I'm about 8 hours into.
Good.
I got hooked on the new Diablo with that expansion.
Very good.
That game is so far improved on Xbox or PS3 versus the way it was on PC.
Yeah.
A lot of the changes have been great. So I've been tearing through that and Mass Effect 2. So I've been ignoring Twitter and a lot of other stuff lately.
Me and Rick chatted the other night about the show and our little argument, and I tried to get him to say who won. He said it was a tie. I was like,
very diplomatic, Rick.
Very diplomatic.
You're the Galen of our group.
Yeah, you're the Galen of the three of us. I'm Alan, you're Peter.
Obviously, I'm Peter. The good-looking one.
Face like scrambled eggs. All right.
Whatever.
Well, I'm going to let you know something. We're talking about Diablo 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You know how you got legendary items that drop in that game?
I do. They've dropped. I've had more drop than the entire time I played on PC.
Well, I beat the game 3 times, and I was on my 4th game playthrough on the PC.
PC, okay.
Now, this is before they had their big loot change. Okay, the loot change did happen on the PC a while back before this game came out.
Right.
But before that happened, you don't get a legendary until 60, and I didn't get level 60 until I beat the game 3 times.
That's just
I think it was either 2 or 3 times. And those are on hard and hard difficulty levels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the loot change was for much better. But I guess I've beaten that game 4 times because we're on the... we're on the last
I would
act.
say I'm in. I just got to Act 4. Mm-hmm. Okay, playing with the Crusader, which I love.
Yeah,
it's a
he's
great addition to the game.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I've had probably 7 legendaries drop.
Oh yeah, you'll get a punch.
In like I said, in the first 3 acts, I've had like 7 legendaries in the entire time because I never got to 60 when it was on PC.
Right.
I only got to like maybe 40.
Right.
So I never saw a legendary in that game that I was able that I got
I don't
from
even
a
think
drop.
you made it 40. 40, you'd have beaten the game.
Huh?
You'd have beaten the game at 40.
Well, I had beat the game at 40,
You
but
just hadn't played it through again.
I didn't play it through
You had to
it
play it
again
through a
to get up
bunch.
to 60. Man, I never played
Well,
again.
I'll tell you this: that Act 5 is awesome. It's probably the best of all the acts.
I'm looking forward to it. That's why I've been tearing
amazing.
through it again, trying to do it. So.
It's got just a really cool cityscape look to it, with like almost the way the game kind of begins, but a lot more and a lot better. That kind of like Castlevania-ish. You know what I mean?
All right.
So that's cool.
So is there anything we need to fight about this week?
No.
Oh.
We'll figure it out. We got. Unfortunately, there will be some boxing tonight we won't be able to watch. Pay-per-view.
Okay. I was like, why aren't we going to be able to
I
watch
don't think
boxing?
there's any boxing. With it.
There is one incident that took place last Saturday that we might need to speak about.
Okay.
As you all know, we go out to eat every Saturday, and we went to Arby's.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Arby's,
No. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Arby's has a alleged secret menu item called the Meat Mountain. And what this is it's supposed to have all their meats on it, various cheeses. And you're supposed to be able to get this sandwich for like $10. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, we went to Arby's last week. I told Brandon and his wife, I'm going to get that Meat Mountain sandwich. And Brandon was adamant, dude, you are not going to be able to get that here.
I said, it's a ruse. Those things, in my opinion, yes, they are somewhere. But the run-of-the-mill stores, restaurants and stuff you go to, they don't have a clue about it. It's just a gimmick to get you into the place or get them in the news.
And here's the thing. I work for a news station. I'm not going to say where, because I don't want to drag my work stuff into our podcast. But based on the station I work at, we had it on set. Like when it first came out, and we were talking about it. Like we brought one in and we had it on the set. The anchors tried it live on TV to say what they thought about it. So I knew it existed. I had seen it. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go get me one of these. There's nothing like going into a restaurant and ordering something and having the employees look at you like you're a moron. Like, I don't know what that is. So that was a little bit aggravating. I showed them a picture of it. Obviously the manager on duty, because she was wearing a button-up shirt as opposed to the pullover polos that everybody else wears.
True.
She didn't know what it was. And, obviously one of the employees in the back did, because she said, we don't sell this sandwich, do we? And the guy was like, no, we don't sell that. And I heard him saying, oh, I've seen that on the internet, talking about it. So they knew of it, but they didn't sell it. So I went on a rant on Twitter.
With my help.
Yes. So I'm going to read a couple of my tweets. Congrats, Arby's. You tricked me into your restaurant with the promise of the Meat Mountain. No Meat Mountain. # secret menu hoax. Arby's, nothing like walking into your establishment and employees looking at you like you're an idiot for asking for this fictional sandwich. Here comes Brandon's contribution. I was like, oh, sure, Arby's. The Meat Mountain exists. ... Its main ingredient is Ruse beef.
Ruse beef.
That was Brandon.
Heyo, that's the dum-dum.
And then I put, you've made me look the fool!
Yeah, that's pretty
exclamation points. So, I would say within... I think it happened while we were sitting there eating still, right?
Yeah,
that I got the tweet?
30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, so maybe we had already left the restaurant. Oh, yeah, it was. We got back to your house.
Yeah.
So, I would say within 45 minutes, I got a tweet from Arby's saying, we apologize for that. What restaurant did you go to? So, instantly, Brandon was like, you're about to get all these people fired. So I told them what restaurant I worked at. They asked on Twitter if I could send them my phone number so somebody could call me. So they made the situation right. They called me up on the phone. They said, we've been in contact with the management at that restaurant. All the employees have been fired. No, they didn't say that. No. They were like, we've been in contact with people at the restaurant to make sure that all shifts know how to make this sandwich. Mm-hmm. And, on us, here's a free gift card, $15. That way it'll pay for your sandwich next time you go and some fries and a drink. So they made it right. We will see.
Everybody's going to be on Twitter saying that same thing.
The next time we go to Arby's, we'll see if they actually have the sandwich. That's the test. Is do they know how to make the sandwich if I go back and order it?
Plus, we'll probably see a whole new crew in there too. The old crew is going to be who knows? They're going to be eating out of a big gallon or something of they're cooking beans or something.
They're working at the gas station next door to the Arby's now. Well, whatever. But yeah, that was our drama from last Saturday night. I was very upset at No Meat Mountain.
But it became funny, though, because I knew it.
Well, what's really funny is when you walk in, they've got that huge sign that says, like, stacks of meat. And that's obviously all the meat that's on the Meat Mountain.
To some degree. I don't think it was.
I mean, it's not that huge, but that's still all the stuff. Like, it's got the chicken stacked on top of the roast beef and the turkey and the ham and the bacon. Like, all that stuff is stacked up right there. I even showed him a picture of it. Like, why couldn't they just make the item for me?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, they just wouldn't do it. So,
and what's funny with me is because I'd been saying this, we had been talking this before, how it was a ruse, and I'm watching from the back of the restaurant, and I see him up there, and I see him talking, and I see her talking back and forth, and I was like, oh, she doesn't have a clue what it is, and I see his head kind of kink over the side, and him point up to another item on the menu. I was like, that's right, they don't have that shit. But yeah, it's cool. Hopefully they'll have it. Maybe we can go tonight. Who knows?
If not, there'll be more tweets on Twitter, and Arby's will be called out for the lies.
Yeah, there will definitely be some hell to pay if there's no second Meat Mountain. I mean, this guy wanted a lot of meat, that's for sure. You really craving a lot of meat last week, weren't you? Hot meat in your mouth is what you wanted.
Arby's is good for that.
It is. You have a song picked out yet for this?
No, not particularly.
You haven't thought about it?
Hadn't even thought about it. I'll throw something on tomorrow. My Dolphins had a huge win, week 1 opener against the Patriots.
They sure did.
I mean, they fucked the Patriots up, 33-20. I will say I was furious going into the first half because they were blowing the game, and I quickly turned on them on Twitter. But they brought it back. They came out like gangbusters in the second half and really shut down the Patriots. So that was awesome.
My Raiders only got beat by a couple points. 5 points. I'll take it.
Okay. Against your former team, the Jets.
My former team, the Jets.
Have we explained your system on the show before?
I cannot remember. I thought we did.
We'll just touch on it real quick.
I roll it randomly every year. I follow a new team every year. Every season. At the end of the season, the last game of the season, and this is my second year doing it, I roll a die, and it lets me decide what...
It determines divisions and then breaks down to which conference. Our conference, then divisions, then team.
Correct. And so I don't know what it's going to be, and I roll it usually with video, filming it, so there's evidence of what team it is.
Because the day that he finally rolls up my Miami Dolphins, I'm going to be furious.
Well, the thing
because the problem is this.
Yeah, there's no problem.
No, there is a problem.
No.
Because the second you roll it up,
Yep.
everybody, he's been a diehard fan since the womb of this team.
In the womb, diehard fan.
So, I mean, all he does now is wear silver and black.
Yeah, I bleed silver and black. You cut me. You're not going to be able to cut me, but if you were somehow, maybe you have kryptonite.
He's one of these Raiders fans that, and no disrespect to any Raiders fans listening.
I wouldn't disrespect a Raiders fan at all. You'll be murdered.
No disrespect
they
to
are killers.
Fans. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You guys are real assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you will murder.
Whoa,
you will murder fans of the opposite teams.
He doesn't speak for me. You watch out. I'm a
I was
Raiders
going
fan.
to say, you should be killing me.
I'm going to cut you.
You should grab a knife out of my kitchen and stab me right now.
Cut you.
We've got knives.
We got knives now.
But
it's you know what? It's a fun way to enjoy football and to not be disappointed year after year after year after year, Browns fans, of how terrible your team is. You know what I'm saying?
And you were a Panthers fan. So.
I was a Panther fan.
A real Panther fan.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. He was a real Panthers fan.
Yep.
At one point in time. But Jake Delhomme ruined that for him.
Well, Jake Delhomme, and then so did just the new team. I think it was like the second game of like 2 seasons ago.
I thought
it was where they were it was that same game with the Panthers. Every fucking game is the same with the Panthers.
I thought the straw that broke the camel's back, that made you quit being a fan and not necessarily start your rolling up a new team, but what really broke you was after that playoff game where Delhomme himself committed 7 turnovers.
That was really bad.
He threw 6 interceptions and fumbled the ball.
But Cam
and then we all were convinced he was not coming back.
Right.
They'll never bring him back after that playoff game. That bad. And then they signed him to that mega contract after that. And I believe
it was just
you and our friend Jeff, who are both really big Panther fans, you both went berserk.
Yes.
And I think that's when you gave up.
Well, it was really the start that gave up. And then they got rid of him finally the next season. He was terrible. They got Cam Newton. They got better. Cam Newton was exciting. They got some stuff. And then there was a game that they played, and it's a game they've played for years and years and years. And I realized this with the Panthers. They lose exactly the same way every single time. And I was tired of seeing the same game played pretty much the same way it was with 3-4 different quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So it didn't matter. They played exactly the same. They don't. One of their either their offense or their defense does not play a half of the game.
That's usually the second half.
Usually the second half they don't play, and they have to end up throwing some long bomb down the field. What was funny was the year that I stopped and I became a Jets fan. I rolled up Jets. They had a game that was no. I remember now. What it was there was a game that they played, and it was against the Bills, I think. And I got on Twitter, and we could see the ending coming. A full, like the fourth quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, we could see how it was going to end up. It was moving in that direction. The Panthers were winning, but we could see what was happening. And this has happened so many times before. And what was funny was that people on Twitter were like, why are all you Panthers fans getting so pissed about this? They're winning the game. They're like, we see it coming. We've been here. And sure enough, it went exactly that way. And they blew the game in just magnificent Panthers fashion. And I said, you know what? I am tired of them never playing the game correctly. And what was great, they never play like a winning team does. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, look at the big teams that have won over the years. The Steelers, the Patriots, Green Bay. They play a certain way, and you don't see them usually game after game after game play in a bad fashion. But what was funny is that that whole thing definitely it changed my view of it, but now I'm able to. I was like, I'm not going to let them ruin my enjoyment of the sport, because sometimes when they have bad seasons, I won't follow football at all for the whole year until it gets to the playoffs. Right? Because I'm like, you've just killed it for me. So this way, there's no real investment. There's investment for just a season, and at the end of the season, I roll up a new team. It's going to be exciting again, and then I get to learn about that team, and I get to make fun of people saying that I'm a diehard fan, and watch out, they're going to win the Super Bowl. I've already told people Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I just go into an all-new, think of it, just an all-new football fan every year with the hopes and dreams of that team that are, of course, crushed, but then rebuilt, much like the Phoenix coming from its ashes.
Well, one of these days, maybe you'll roll up a good team.
Well, we'll see. It's going to happen. Who knows? Yeah. And sure enough, Panthers the other day, their first opening game, I was certain. They did win it, but I was certain it looked like that same old Panthers. They forgot they blew a big lead. And here it goes. They're going to fucking lose. Now, what was really icing on the cake was when they let go of Stephen Smith, which I just thought was funny. That was just the icing on the cake to get rid of them. I understand what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is, Stephen Smith was an idiot for staying with the Panthers that long.
Yes.
He should have had a Super Bowl ring already.
He should have left sooner to get his Super Bowl ring.
Did you see how he played with the Ravens?
Not great.
I thought he did really well, they said.
He had some drop passes.
Well, that's...
he had a couple hit him right in the hands that he lost.
But I thought he got they threw to him like a bunch.
He got a touchdown. He had like 84 yards total for the game. No. I'm sorry. It was more than that. Yeah. Because he had an 80-yard touchdown catch.
Right,
he did have an 80-yard touchdown catch Sunday.
Right.
But he only got like maybe 90 or 100 yards. Like all the rest of his things totaled up to real small numbers.
It's his 14th year in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's one of the best wide receivers ever. And it's just a shame that he's not had a
now, he should have had a flag thrown for his touchdown catch.
Okay.
Because... for offensive pass interference, because the guy that was guarding him in the end zone, and everybody saw this, apparently, except for the referee, he went like this, grab dude by face mask, pull him into the ground, and then catch the ball. Like, everybody saw it, except for the ref somehow. It was unbelievable, but...
Well, it said it says he went for 118 yards and touchdown against the Bengals.
Yeah, and the touchdown catch was 80 yards. I know that.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, that was when they got rid of him. I was like, you know what? You know that all the wide receivers on the Panthers team are completely new. They're all new guys. Yeah. And I'm not, I'm just like, whatever.
Except for Greg Olsen, they're tight.
If they do well, that's fine. The fact of the matter is, and this is what I really decided. I said, if they win the Super Bowl, they've got Cam Newton. He finally gets his shit straight. They go to the Super Bowl. And they actually win, which would be amazing for them. I'm sure Panthers win. That's great. But the fact of the matter is, I know after that, more than likely they're going to play exactly the way they have for the next 10 years or so, and then maybe they'll go to the Super Bowl. But so I'm just tired of seeing the same game. That's my whole beef. It's not the fact that we had terrible seasons sometimes. Hell, I stayed with him during the Seifert year. The Seifert years, when he had the worst, they had the worst record.
And he was asleep on the sideline,
right,
in a hammock.
Until Detroit successfully took that away from the Panthers, that record. When they lost, I think it was 88 games in a row or something. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I don't know how I came up with it, but I thought it was fun, and I like it. And unfortunately, I don't get to see Raiders games. They come on NFL Network or something.
Right.
So it's hard for me to watch them as much. And there actually was more Jets games that I was able to see.
I just like making fun of you because of your, Raiders fan from the womb. That I constantly get from you.
It's number one fan right here.
That's why I enjoy it. But yeah, each to their own.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm gonna keep sticking with my Dolphins, heartbreak after heartbreak, and
well, they did good, and they went up against a formidable team, but maybe that team's in, on a decline.
It's possible. We'll see what they do this year. Yeah.
Last
year, if they would have won either of their final 2 games, they would have made the playoffs, but they didn't.
Right.
And we've made the playoffs once in the last 14 years. We've had 17 starting quarterbacks in the last 14 years. Since Marino
I think
retired.
you were a quarterback for a short while.
Since Marino retired, we've had 17 starting quarterbacks.
Marino, he was a good quarterback, wasn't he?
He was very good.
Do you remember what his last game was, his last play?
It was an interception. He went out on an interception, INT.
We met.
We did meet Dan Marino.
We met Dan Marino. It was a huge moment for Jonathan.
It was very... Let me talk about that for a second, because we talked about it a couple times this week at work. We just passed in 1 hour.
All right.
We were at the Panthers game, because I had press passes, so we sat in the press box. We ate with Steve Berline. He sat down with us at a table. We didn't really talk to him, but he sat down with us. Because at the time, he was the color commentator, I think, for the Panthers radio network. But 2 minutes left in the game. We're looking up on the closed circuit television that's only broadcast inside the Panther Stadium. And the reason we went to the game is because, Brandon was a Panthers fan at this time. I'm a Dolphins fan. It was a preseason game, I believe.
Mm-hmm, it was.
And they were playing the Dolphins, so we went. And I look up, 2 minutes left in the game, and they're showing Dan Marino on the screen. And I went, Dan Marino's here. He's here in this stadium somewhere. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That was amazing. We were like, let's go.
I was like, well, yeah, we were like, I wish I had known that. So we're leaving. And the exit for the press exit, is right by the visitors' locker room. Mm-hmm. And as we're walking down there, walking out to leave, I believe you spotted him first.
Oh, yeah. You were right by him.
Yeah, you were like, Dan Marino's right there. I was like, what? And we turn around, he's there, he's talking to somebody. And I was like, I really want to meet him. I was like, I want to speak to him, because
you were bold. I give you that.
Now, here was the problem, and this is what I talked to somebody at work about. There's always that fear of someone that's like a hero to you and that you've always loved, that you're going to meet them and they're a complete ass and it's going to destroy stuff for you.
Right.
I grew up a Dolphins fan. I watched Dan Marino. Pretty much my whole life of watching football was Dan Marino.
Right, like when you with the Raiders.
Yeah, when I started watching football, probably at about age 14, 15, Dan Marino was their quarterback, and he was there until he retired. And for me, I'd always heard that he could be a real ass. I've heard that he's an asshole. So I was scared. It's that moment of, do I take this one opportunity that I may never have again to speak to him, or do we not? So I waited until he was done talking to the guy he was talking to.
I don't think you waited.
I did.
I thought you went right up there.
No. I waited until he was done talking to that guy. That guy went back in the locker room. Whoever
he turned
he was
around.
talking to. Yeah. He turned around. I don't know what he was doing. He was just standing around at that point. I walked up. I was like, Mr. Marino. I was like, I'm a Dolphins fan. Huge fan of yours. I was like, it's really nice to meet you. I was like, I just want to come over and say hey. I was like, do you mind if I get a picture with you? And he kind of sat there for a second. He was like, yeah, okay. And but I got my picture with him.
Yeah.
I got to meet him, which was huge. Unfortunately, this was long before the time of smartphones. This was like a flip phone camera that's probably like a half a megapixel.
Some people still have those.
It's probably a half a megapixel picture.
Yeah.
Though. I don't even know if I still have the picture saved on a computer.
Some people still have flip phones. They're often mistaken for time travelers. No offense to time travelers.
But
yeah,
but at least it was a pleasant experience.
It was, and it was funny to me too.
Did you talk to him also?
No. He just asked me if I'd taken the picture. Did you get the picture? I was like, yeah, I got it. And and I did say when I left, I was like, it's nice to meet you. So I'm like, thanks a lot, Mr. Marino. But what was really good, he shook our hand. That's what it was. He shook both our hands. And on the drive home, I remarked at how light his hand was because he didn't have a Super Bowl ring. And that, of course, enraged you. I believe you almost destroyed your car in rage.
Whatever. Dude, I don't get mad when people make fun of him for not winning a Super Bowl, because the fact of the matter is, I mean, for years up until recently, he basically held almost every NFL quarterback record.
Still stuck.
He still has a lot of them. He still has a lot of them, but like some of them have been broken. Like most touchdowns in a season is Peyton Manning now. And like some of them have slowly been broken. Right. Most career touchdowns, I believe, now belongs to Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
Marino used to have it at 420, but I think Favre finally broke that before he retired. But I mean, he still has a lot.
What a beautiful retirement that was for Brett Favre.
Single season passing yards was broken by Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm. Smoothest hands because of isotoner gloves.
He does love the isotoner.
It felt like shaking a woman's hand.
But at least it was a pleasant experience.
Yeah, he's
when
cool.
we met him. And that was a big thing for me because I won't go into it, but needless to say, a guy I work with at work, grew up in Baltimore. He's a huge Ravens fan. A couple weeks ago, he was covering the Clemson-Georgia game, and Ray Lewis was at the game. He went up to meet Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis shunned him. And he got so mad when he went home, he threw his jersey in the trash.
That's great.
I'll tell you that story later. I don't want to go into the whole thing on here, but yeah, it was basically the exact opposite of my experience.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to be a Ray Rice fan instead.
But it was basically the exact opposite of my experience. And it's that same thing where, Ray Lewis was probably top 3 for him, sports icons for him, and now he's forever got a tainted experience with that.
Tainted love.
That has ruined stuff for him.
Tainted love.
And that sucks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that really sucks. I think Marino was so nice because we didn't ask for any autographs or anything.
Plus, he's retired.
Yeah, he was retired.
And he had a Hawaiian shirt. He had that millionaire's tan, flip flops.
Yeah, I mean, he was just relaxing, just hanging out of the game.
I could tell that he was like, okay, yes, whatever. You know what I mean? He was like that. It was like, whatever. I don't care. We're getting a picture with Dan Marino.
Yeah,
but
I mean, like I said, he wasn't rude. He wasn't mean. He didn't say no. He was, at least he was nice about it. I could tell it was one of those things where he was kind of like, yeah, okay. But I mean, whatever. He could have said no.
Yeah.
And he could have just been like, nah, fuck you. He could have been like, nah, I'm not messing with that.
Luckily, you didn't kill him like Ray Finkel tried to do.
But, I don't know. It was a good experience for me. And I got to meet one of my heroes, and that's the biggest thing about that.
That's cool. Maybe, is there a Dolphins fighting song you can play? Do they have the Dolphins fighting song?
They do have a song that they play every time they score.
Put that at the end of this one.
Maybe I'll put that in. I don't know.
A little touch of it.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know. We'll find something. So,
that's it.
Yeah, we'll bring the music in now.
It's 4:43.
It's 4:43.
We're going to go eat. We're going to go eat.
We'll figure it out.
Not Lily's.
That's fine. Whatever. So music's playing, yada, yada, yada.
Good music. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next week.
I hope you guys all go ape, just like me and Jonathan go ape. Are you going to go ape?
Go ape.
I'm going ape.